Hello, friends, and welcome to Teach Time in the Afternoon. My name is Miss Adventure in the Classroom, and I'll be walking you through my RIPE critical knowledge building system so that you can bring critical discussions to your classroom. Because I know you're already developing critical thinking skills. We both know that, okay? Same page. You're already doing it in your class, but I think if you stick around and listen to me for a while, you'll see how our schools really aren't built to sustain critical types of learning. So it's our job to help supplement and create more critical spaces through things like this system. That's what I'm trying to do. So this is just to help you do those things that you already do great. And I want to also offer you a chance to see a lesson live with these ideas. I have over 425 learning touchstones with the RIPE critical knowledge building system that I like to call anti standards. So they're meant to liberate your classroom from the standardized mechanization that has happened thanks to a bunch of testing and things like this, reforms like that. We want to shake things up and liberate your class with critical discussions. And that's what these touchstones are for. So, every Sunday, I have a critical lesson planning session where you can see one of my lessons live, where I bring one of these ideas to life. So, check out my Patreon below to get access to those videos for as low as $1.50 a month. This week, I'm going to be spinning what subject and age level I will be doing for this Sunday show. I'm going to be doing We're Learning a Lesson with a Power That Is Worth the Struggle. So stick around at the end to figure out which subject and age group I will be doing for this lesson because you're not going to want to miss that stuff, y'all. It's going to be exciting to be able to see how to take these ideas up because they're a little vague. Sure, the lesson you're teaching, no matter what it is worth the struggle, but how do I make that central to my lesson and what will that even look like? That's what Sundays are for. So check it out on my Patreon. Can't wait to see what we get this week. But before we dive into choosing what our lesson will be for the week, we're going to talk about the RIPE methodology as a whole. Up here, when I'm talking about RIPE, I'm talking about the acronyms with these learning actions: revere, imagine, problematize, and enhance. This is a methodology that I've formulated through studying critical scholars that are part of the educational tradition. So I've got thinkers from across time and space, mostly Earth, who have said ideas that are really important to bring to our classroom. And like I said, we're not doing a lot of the stuff that's most meaningful to education, that's most critical, if you will. We're skipping a lot of that and we're doing a lot of surface information cramming. And the RIPE critical knowledge building system is here to help you infuse your class with the question, why? Why are we learning what we're learning? Why are we doing this? It's going a little meta. So, as you can see, we're learning a lesson with a power that's worth the struggle. I have that idea for each subject. This one's math. Math is a power that's worth the struggle. Any subject you teach is worth the struggle, but we don't often talk about that explicitly. You'll have to excuse landscaping. I'm going to try and be quick, but we have landscaping happening at the place I'm at. So hopefully it's not too loud for you. It's a little distracting for me, but I'll talk quick. Okay, so we want to be infusing the question, why? Why are we learning what we're learning? Well, it's worth the struggle. We're engaged in a struggle right now in this classroom. If we stop and we take a critical pause and engage in these types of questions, your students will get to see, oh, This is why I'm engaging in the knowledge building process at all. Now I can find new purpose. Maybe I'll find purpose through revering all this knowledge. Maybe I'll find purpose through problematizing it. Maybe I'll find purpose through imagining what else knowledge could be. There's a lot of ways we can help our students connect to their own purpose. And that's what RIPE is all about. So I'm going to go ahead and toss these cards that talk about the whole system. The rest of the week, I'll be going through each one of these learning actions. Today, I talk about the whole thing. So let's see what our thinkers have to say as I ignore the loud sounds outside. All right, let's see what we got. We've got Carl Sagan. You guys, where have I been on Carl Sagan? For real. I've only started watching Cosmos and watching all his stuff. I love him. I'm crazy about him. So excited to learn more from Carl Sagan. And I guess I just recently wrote this one down and printed it off because, it's too good, y'all. All right, so let me go ahead and read a little Carl. We wish to pursue the truth, no matter where it leads. But to find the truth, we need imagination and skepticism both. So that's kind of what we've been missing in school. Like I said, it's a lot of information collecting, right? And proving that, yes, I know that information. Yes, yes. It's less about giving students the ability and the muscles to find and discover their own truth, to discover truth out there, right? That's Carl is talking about. But truth out there and truth in here, our muscles for both of those are similar. And schools aren't about that so much. It's more like, can you pass this test so you can take another test so you can get into a good college and take more tests to get a good job, tests and jobs, and that's it. But truth, y'all. What about truth? And what about, as Carl knows, if you listen to him, he doesn't say it here, but truth will never have all of truth. There's too much truth to be discovered. So it's less about, I have all the truth. I've collected it all. I can pass a test on truth. No, it's not about quantifying. It's about creating the ability to discover it, to constantly be engaging with it, to be able to eliminate what is not truth, right? These are skills where it's not about information. We're going a level higher. So right now in your classrooms, you're doing the information stuff. And as I said before, you are teaching your kids that it's worth it, right? You talk about in your classroom why this lesson is worth the hard work they're putting in. But when it's up on the wall and you can, as I said, pause like a video game and kind of boop, okay, let's go up a level and talk about what was just happening. We're engaged in a struggle of learning right now. And by examining it from this angle, they can begin to develop different muscles. They were engaging with their information muscles, but up here, we're going more toward truth. We're discovering truth about the information. What is beyond the information? What is the context surrounding that information that's led to me in this moment struggling with this information? It makes it more personal when we can engage with meaning because it's bringing us closer to truth. And so the RIPE system, I hope Carl Sagan would approve of doing this because I think it does take the next step. It takes our schooling, it shifts it from knowledge collecting and knowledge showing off to truth seeking. That's what we're trying to do. We're leveling up, if you will, the way we do school and making it more meaningful by connecting to stuff that's critical and we often ignore. We kind of just rush right through it to get to the information when, oh, no, no, the information is a path to these higher levels of knowing where analysis and meaning can take place on a deeper level than just the facts. Okay, and let me finish off with how he just perfectly brought up two of the points. I couldn't help when I saw he said imagination. I mean, come on, it's right there on my wall. He says, we wish to pursue the truth no matter where it leads, which, by the way, is brave. Bravery. That's a skill also we need to be developing in schools. And by the way, you give your students chances to be brave, right? This is meant to help them too, because we're stretching. We're doing a new kind of discussion. You're going to kind of have to risk talking about knowledge in a different way. Truth is a little scary. You've got to be brave in order to seek it. So, this system, by engaging with knowledge and looking at it through different paths, like, ooh, problematization, that's brave to say, hey, what we're learning here today, it was made by humans who are as flawed as you and me. And it's a lot of humans who've put their brains together, but we could be missing a critical piece that only you could spot, or that we all could spot, but you might be the one to do it, right? So, but problematizing knowledge is scary because we like to think that it's more comforting to think that this knowledge is complete. We know everything there is to know about. I always use trigonometry. Why is that my first one? Statistics. We know everything we need to know. I think if you talk to any statistician, they'd tell you, no, we're learning new things all the time. We're learning new tricks of the trade, and we're discovering old ways aren't working and new methods are, and a combination of both work really well, and blah, blah, blah. That's how it goes. So problematizing, it is a risk, right? It's a bit of a risk to say, hey, let's try and poke some holes. Let's see if where the weak spots are. That's takes bravery. And by our students developing this skill in your classroom, they're going to be more prepared for life where we know the truth. You got to be brave out here, right? And kids are already in the real world. They're already in life. They already need to have bravery. So TikTok on the bravery, y'all. I want to see it in classrooms all over. Bravery, we're cultivating it. Carl would approve. Okay. And finally, he says, but to find truth, no matter where it leads, we need imagination and skepticism both. Does anyone notice a skeptical figure on my wall? Oh, he's so skeptical. So Carl knows that we need to have imagination. We need to have skepticism, right? We do have a lot of reverence in our school systems already. We revere the knowledge a lot of times. Just kind of passively, we're like, this is what it is because yay, we discovered this, huzzah. But there's so much more to it that we can actively engage with knowledge on a deeper level than just a passive kind of reverence. We can actively revere it. And then imagine, like Carl says, that's the only way we're going to find truth. You can only find truth through imagination and through skepticism. So, as much as what we've been doing matters, I have a lot to revere about the way we've been doing school systems, but it's time to level up. I'm pretty sure in one of the interviews, Carl talks about how Thomas Jefferson knew that skepticism was a muscle necessary to democracy. So he knew as a scientist how interrelated thinking and politics and science, everything we engage in when it comes to our minds, and that means crafting and formulating our society in all aspects, when it comes to knowledge and when it comes to the structures of our environment. And he knew, because science played such a role in shaping society, that the people had to be equipped to find truth about science and about society, about more than that. So these things are all combined. And he talked about how necessary as a scientist democracy was to him, and how the people need to be scientists themselves. That's why one of our first revere number one for the science subject is all humans. Science is a power that all humans have. And that's what Carl would say too. And we need to all learn how to engage it and learn how to develop truth. We have science muscles, we have truth discovering muscles. School is the place to develop them for the sake of our society, for the sake of science, for the sake of human life in general. So, this is big stuff that we're doing in our classrooms. We are preparing them to be truth seekers, to be able to go beyond what we've done and discover more truths about all these things. And they're going to need to be skeptical, which critical usually gets a pretty bad rap, right? For being too critical and skeptical and they don't believe in anything. But no, of course we do. But we're also going to question it. Questioning is a huge part that, yes, critical thinkers do not back away. We are not scared to ask questions. It's brave to do so, and it's not easy, but we've been practicing our muscles. We're critical thinkers, yo. And we'll also need imagination. So, skepticism, imagination, this is the way forward. This is the way towards a new kind of schooling experience where our students can see how whatever you're doing is related to life. These conversations are life lessons about the moment of learning they're engaged in. And they'll be able to sync up their understanding of learning and their understanding of life better. And therefore, will see what they're doing in school as a real kind of muscle building. This is training. This is training. Sure, they're already living life. And John Dewey has talked about how saying school is just preparation for life is not true because they're in the midst of life. But school does offer this special moment where they get a chance to train, right? They're athletes in training season. So, in that sense, it is prep. They are athletes every day. They're engaging in mental athletics, right? But those mental athletics are in a safe zone with us, and we can help them flex them and strengthen their skills of skepticism and imagination because it's central to being truth finders. And that's what we want. I'll quit talking about it. Oh, and I'll do our spinning for this week. So, if you like what we're doing here at Ripe Critical Knowledge Building with me, Miss Adventure, check out my Patreon. I'm doing a lesson over this week. How do I take this up? First, let's figure out what subject it is. I may stack the deck. We'll see. I want to include all the subjects with Revere. So it's a 50-50 shot that I land on a new one or I fudge the results. So let me live, okay? I'm trying. Oh no, we did science last week. So see, I'll spin again. It's kind of pointing to math. It's gonna be math. Okay. Last week 2 weeks ago I did science. For Revere 1, Revere 2, I did a history. So Revere 3, I'll do math. So pretty soon, once I've gone through the major 13 level 1 themes, these big themes, those are all going to be free. So y'all can check them out. I want to make sure I hit all my subjects, but then I'll really spin and I'll get a better spinner. It's not a great spinner. I'll figure something out. Okay, but I will do math this time. And I'm not as worried about the ages. I have done only high school and middle school so far. That's a good spin. Now, gravity kind of took that one over here. I'll do a good spin flat. Okay, good. I didn't fudge it. This one was real. Early elementary. Yay. That's more my specialty. I've done high school and middle school the last couple weeks. So now to elementary school, which is my zone. So I will be doing math, a math lesson for early elementary. Math is a power that's worth the struggle. Whoa. And ain't that the truth? It sure is a struggle. Am I right? Yes. I can relate to this one. This one hits home. It is a struggle. Okay, so we'll be talking about this on Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. Ooh, we're going to have fun. So thank you so much for joining me. You use your imagination and be skeptical out there and get the Ripe Knowledge Building System. You can get it if you join the Teacher Trust level for $15 a month on my Patreon, or you can buy it for $15 on its own. But if you join on Patreon, you're going to get access to all my Learning League mysteries, where I'm infusing critical elements like this into fun adventures for your classroom that are interdisciplinary, mysteries that matter over important social studies and science topics that are often overlooked and are like critical or something. I don't know. You judge for yourself, but you'll get access to all my Learning League adventures for the month for the same price. So that's really the deal. So check out my Patreon below and do the $15 a level for 1 month if you're on a tight budget, and then email me and we can drop you down to a lower level. I don't want anyone to be excluded because I'm more about education than anything else. So don't worry if you're on a tight budget. Girl, me too. Me too. So no worries. Sign up for the $115 a month. Send me an email. We'll work something out so you can continue to see all these lessons and be part of my Teacher Trust, where I want you collaborating with me. I have created a jumping off point for us to engage in deeper things. I'm not going to find truth on my own. What are you, insane? I need you guys to help me find it together. This is a collective process. So please, if you have ideas for how math is a power that's worth the struggle, I'd love to hear it. Please share your ideas below. Go to my website, follow me on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, that kind of stuff. Thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow when we talk about reverence. What does it mean to revere knowledge? You talked about a lot of good stuff today, Sarah, but how do I revere actively, like you were talking about? Come back tomorrow and I'll give you some tips and tricks. Okay, I will see you then. Thank you so much for joining me. See you tomorrow. Bye.